Hello, everybody. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach. We are meeting for another love circle. And today we are meeting with a little bit of serious topic, and that is codependency. We are going to learn what are the codependent behavior, why do they even exist within us, and how we can resolve it. So today's topic is resolving codependent behavior. Now, when we hear the word codependency or codependent behavior, it just feels like, there's something wrong with me. It's bad. I shouldn't have it. So what that kind of attitude does, it makes us defensive. So now I'm going to start defending myself because I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be wrong. So I want to start this conversation with this. There's no right or wrong. Everything just is in the universe. If you are stuck in some codependent behaviors right now, that's okay. I am still finding codependent behaviors within me, and I have been on this journey for almost 8 years now. It's all okay. We are here to become curious and discover ourselves, discover our potential, and connect with our soul. Not everything is going to happen all at the same time. It is baby steps. So we want to become so relaxed and out of the conformity of right and wrong, so we can actually become honest with ourselves. Honesty does not happen when someone is judging you. Have you ever tried telling your child who maybe had another ice cream and you're like, you better tell me you had another ice cream or else? It's like that never works, because we need to feel psychologically safe to open up. We want to make sure we open up. Only then we can grow. So let's take all the negative things that we have in our mind about codependent behavior, put it on a side. You can pick it up later. Let's take the judgment out of it too. And let's just become curious. What is codependency? So at the root of it, codependency is not a behavior issue. It's actually an inner safety issue. When I don't feel safe within me, I am going to create codependency out of me. And inner safety is something that generally does not get nurtured. We have to work on it ourselves. So given that every single one of us, when we are becoming curious about ourselves, every single one of us, we do have some kind of codependent behavior going on. And it is our responsibility to look through it, get honest, change it if we want to, don't change it if you don't want to, no pressure. But if you know why you act the way you act, that knowledge is power. So we will at the end talk a little bit about what are the steps you can take, 4 steps that you can take, and also how can you nurture that inner safety. Now, first, let's talk about why do we even want to resolve codependent issues. So I'm going to help you understand in terms of light. So let's say I have this light within me, right? If I am not plugged in here, that is, I am safe here, I am okay here, and I am holding somebody else, I am depending on them, I'm depending on their energy, I'm depending on their approval, I'm depending on how much they accept from me or receive from me, I am not plugged in here. So when we have codependent behavior, part of our own nervous system psychology or our whole physical experience, we are not getting to all that we are. If I don't release codependency, I can forget about ever living my full potential or even living my soul purpose. Sometimes we live in this illusion that I am doing the good work in the world. Yeah, it might be benefiting somebody, but it might not be the work that my soul came here to do. And if I really want to do that, so I don't just keep going through more and more cycles of life, for those of us who do believe in multiple lifetimes, I do want to stay connected here. And also, my creator created me with so much light. I want to connect with that. I want that to be my anchor and not another person. So this is the consciousness where we come from when we do this work, not judgment. It's the consciousness of I want to feel my own light. I don't want to be depending on other people's light. Um, so what this codependent behavior does for us, it gives us significance. When I am depending on you to validate me, to take me out, to treat me well, I am feeling significant, not by myself, by you. Another way codependent behavior shows up is when we feel like I cannot live without somebody. I need this thing. It's almost at the addiction level where I need this thing. I need this person. That is where I started. I needed that person. If you told me, like, Alia, day would come, you would actually live without this person, I'll be like, nope, I'll be dead. I cannot survive. And I'm not kidding you. That was a very conscious words you would have heard from me. And my family actually did hear from me that I just cannot live without this person. Nope, never in the world. I will do that. I would actually die. That's why that is the thought process that led me towards thinking of suicide. I was like, I don't want to live a life where this person is not part of my life. So let me just kill myself. That is codependency at its darkest level. And I have experienced it. I have come out of it. If you're stuck in a codependent space, I can assure you, you can come out of it too. So when I feel like I cannot live without this, what is that? Having this is my significance. That means I don't have significance myself. I am nobody without this thing. Sometime our careers become that. So our careers become this codependent, toxic relationship. We throw all of our hours into that, not taking care of ourselves, neglecting ourselves, because my identity is this. If I'm not this person, or it could be like, whatever your career is, if I am not that, I am nobody. That is one thing I was very conscious. I still am very conscious as I'm creating my current career, that my significance cannot depend on what I'm contributing to this world. Like, my internal significance has to be, even if I never share a word of wisdom with someone from today onward, I am still somebody. So we can start depending or looking at our own soul purpose or our career that way too. Another thing that happens is why we stay in codependency. It's familiar. So now think of a child who grew up in a very abusive household, very, very abusive. Like, they're getting beaten up, someone else is getting beaten up, or like, somebody's alcoholic. That is very familiar. That chaos is very familiar. So when they grow up, even if they attract a partner that is like, calm and everything is fine, somehow their body would feel like this is not right. We need to do something. So they will start nitpicking. That's why sometimes we say a person who's used to drama, they're going to create drama. So that comes from the familiar aspect of it. When we are familiar with being with that kind of stuff, we need it. So let's say if you are in a relationship that is very, very abusive, but it's familiar abuse, that's codependency. You're not going to leave it. It's going to take a lot of internal shifts on your behalf for you to leave it. That's why a lot of women who do end up in whether it's emotionally, physically, sexually abusive relationship, they are stuck in it. You'll meet with them. You'll be like, oh, this is a perfectly healthy woman. You have no idea what's going on inside her personal life. and she will be completely disconnected with that reality. I have conversation with many women in that space, and it's almost like they can't even see it. I know there was a point I was that person, but now when I see it in someone else, it's so apparent. Oh, this person can't even see it yet. So it does require internal shift to be able to see that this familiarity that you have is actually codependency on that abuse, because you're just used to it. When we are in that codependent relationship, one person is taking and one person is giving. So we say, let's say if I am giving and someone is taking, we would say I'm the enabler of that abuse being taken away. But then that giving gives me significance. It's familiar. Maybe I have done it my whole life. So it's familiar. So now it's part of my nervous system. My nervous system is used to that very specific brain chemistry that comes with being in the chaos. So it doesn't even feel wrong to me. It might feel wrong to you because you're coming from a very calm, happy, relaxed family environment. So it might not even, feel wrong to me, but you'd be like, you're okay. Like, how can't you see this? You might have had those experiences with your friends, or your friends might have said these things to you, but you thought like, she's maybe just jealous. So that's why we want to put all the judgment aside, get curious, ask very honest questions from ourselves. Another aspect that gets us stuck in there is sense of responsibility, because sense of responsibility, it feeds into significance. So generally, there are most women who become enabler, or they get stuck in that codependent situation. Not always, generally, because we are conditioned. You need to be responsible for the household. You're responsible to fix this man. You're responsible to feed these kids. You're responsible to keep the peace in this house. We are conditioned to carry so much responsibility just because we are nurturer by nature. So everything is put on us. But one person cannot carry the burden. If you don't have an emotionally healthy enough partner to carry that with you, you cannot carry. But no one is going to tell you. One thing that everybody would tell you, you need to be responsible. And when we do take responsibility for things for other people, it gives us a sense of identity. It means I am somebody now. Look what I'm doing. It gives us that feeling of martyrdom. We love to be martyrs. Look what I have created here. Look how much I put up with. And sometime, depending on what generation your mother was in, your own mom will give you example. See what I put up with? You can put up with it too. I personally lived that. I used my mom's martyr story to convince myself in my head. And then my grandmother used to say, she used to use her martyr story, and she used to kind of like, encourage us 5 girls by saying, you are my granddaughters. You can never waver. That was her very wonderful way of like, pushing us to do the most. But if you look at it, it was coming from a wounded place. Look how much I suffered. You can suffer too. And you're not going to let this suffering stop you from staying with where you are. You're going to stand ground. And sometime now I'm just getting into more of a tangent. Maybe somebody out there needs to hear this. Some culture have this concept that once you create this home for yourself, there's no way out. The only way out is death. And I'm not kidding. This is a very, very common concept in many cultures, many microcultures living in the Western world. So no matter what mess is there, you're going to stay there. That is codependency again at its worst. It's that sense of responsibility. And you can only be responsible for yourself. You're responsible to everybody else. You can show up with all your light and, help them get through whatever they need to get through, but you cannot carry their burden. And sometimes it takes a long time for us to understand, oh my God, I'm carrying other people's burden. I'll quickly share my own personal example. Very recently, I caught this behavior. So my backstory, because I am coming from a codependency background myself, I wanted to save people. If I can save you, I would love to be your friend. But if I cannot save you, if I can, you don't really, really need me, I'm not going to be friends with you. Because that is what I need to do. I need to save you. So now the work that I do, it's very easy for me to get into that role again. Let me save this woman. Let me help her, whether she wants it or not, right? Let me not hurt her. And it's very easy for me, out of that sense of responsibility, to go on the other side where codependency exists. Now, you better get saved by me, or my worth is going to get shaken a little bit. It's a very easy. So very recently, I was able to find this in my own thought process that in my relationships, I was trying to show for someone with this thing, oh, maybe I can show you my example of healing and maybe that can inspire you. That is a very noble thing, praised. But because I stay in curiosity, I question my own actions all the time. It feels like Flori's lava inside of me because I am questioning everything I'm thinking, everything I'm saying, every action that I'm taking. Sometimes it takes me a few months before I catch it, but I do catch it. So I asked myself, why do you need to show up as an example? Why it's so important for you? If that person is supposed to find healing, their soul would guide them to that place. Literally, I felt a drop of energy in that moment. And I was like, oh my God, once again, fell into codependency trap. So don't feel bad if with this conversation, you're finding those holes within you. Completely fine. We don't want to judge ourselves. We want to stay curious so we can save energy. Because when we are in codependent relationship, we are plugged into somebody else. We're not plugged in here. When you're plugged in here, you stay very energized and you also have so much energy available to create whatever you want to create. And we all are creators here. We are here to create more and more and more and share it. The last part that I'm going to talk about, what gets us stuck into codependent relationship, is guilt, especially guilt to break off, guilt to stop that relationship, guilt of saying no. I personally know women who are stuck in a marriage with an addict, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever. Now, being stuck with somebody with a psychological disorder like narcissism, cluster B disorder, that has its own separate category, because there's a lot of emotional abuse going on, and emotional abuse is the invisible abuse that they can't even see. Even if they show it to somebody else, they'll be like, oh, everything is fine. Your life is fine. All your bills are paid. He's taking care of you. So what is the problem? Just stay here. That is one way of being an enabler and staying stuck. But when we can clearly see this is not a healthy environment for me, there's so much guilt for leaving because our whole worth is attached to being in that relationship. And what guilt is doing, guilt is actually trying to control us. We're trying to control because we don't feel safe inside. And the truth is, there's no safety outside of you. Our true safety is the divinity that is within us, the light that is within us. So I need to remember every single day, hey, I'm light. There's light within me. That is what makes me feel safe. And that light will always help me, will bring me resources. That is real safety, but it needs to be inside of us. It cannot be outside of us. And when it's outside of us, that is when we start creating codependent relationships. And guilt controls us a lot. And depending on like who we are mingling with, that person is going to use guilt to manipulate us a lot. You're going to leave me. You're going to leave me like that. I will die without you. I can't even take care of you myself without you. Why did you left me? These are all the real conversations I have heard. I have helped my clients through those conversations. It does get very deep and dark. In that moment, we have to remember that I am enabling, and the reason I'm enabling because my significance, my safety is coming from here, and it cannot come from here. This is not a healthy space. It has to come from here. I want to share a little bit piece about inner safety with you all. So yesterday I was in a class. We were doing a journey, and it was the facilitator said, like, go to a safe space. I do that with my clients too. We create the safe space actually in the first session. But he said, go to a safe space or safe place, that a real place in real life where you feel so safe. You always go there. You went there in your childhood, and you always felt safe in that place. And I have never heard it in that way. Usually when I do my safe space, I close my eyes and I have created this beautiful place inside of me that does not exist in real life, or if it does, I have never been there. And that is my safe space. I have created it myself. And in that moment, I realized I don't even have a safe space outside of me. I ran through my whole childhood and I was like, nope, there was no place, even my own home, where I felt truly safe. Or even my current home, I don't truly feel safe. Or the beach or the mountain. The only place I truly feel safe is inside of me, that I have created myself. And right there, I know that there's so much to unpack that I will get to later on or with one of my mentors. But I just wanted to share that story with you, this little thing that I couldn't find a safe space outside of me. The only space I could find inside of me shows you the kind of unsafety I have been around. And I'm not the only one. I know many of you have been around that. And sometimes it seems so hard to find that safety in a place. So we attach to things, we attach to other human, we create these behaviors to anchor ourselves. But again, we are anchoring in the energy where we don't belong. We do belong here, and we need to come back here and not just stay scattered outside. So let's get into what are the steps we can do to change this within us, or continue changing for the rest of our life. First thing I want you to do, because given how sensitive this topic is, given how deep it is within all of us, every single one of us, first we need to ask ourselves permission. One thing that I have learned from my own experience, sometimes I'm just so enthusiastic to grow that I forget to ask myself permission. And then it's almost like, I'm pulling on a bear, but the bear doesn't want to move. So just take a moment and ask yourself, do I even want to change my codependent behaviors? Am I ready? Is now the best time? Really ponder on that question. Ask yourself, if you get a yes, 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 okay, let's move on to next. But don't do things that you're not ready to do. because that is where we create a self-sabotage pattern. Give yourself a few months or years to be ready. I mean, I gave myself 5 years to be ready. So I am speaking from experience, but I can tell you, when I did take that decision after 5 years, I took it from full integrity at all levels. And it was easy. It was peaceful. It was joyful at some level too. So don't push yourself. Allow yourself to be whoever you need to be right now. If you right now you need to be miserable, it's okay. If right now you need to suffer, it's okay. But remember, the choice to change is always here. It's always within you. So the second point is, after you have asked yourself permission, introduce doing less, like interrupt your own behavior. So let's say if my codependent behavior is, as soon as my son comes, I ask him, what do you want? Or I'm picking up stuff after him. I'm kind of training him, hey, someone else is going to clean up after you. Someone else is always going to serve you. If that is my behavior and I can see it's familiar, I'm finding significance by serving to my child. And that is like, I'm the mom title. And I would feel guilty if I don't do that. If I can see all those symptoms, where I'm going to start first, I'm going to interrupt the pattern. So let's say I am not going to pick up the stuff that he's throwing all over the place, or I am not going to ask for food till he actually asks me. So in your case, look in your life. If you just always say, oh, I'm sorry, or whatever your way is to show people, hey, you matter to me so much, and I would never want you to feel this way. Like, if that could be your way of feeding into codependent behavior, try not saying it one day. If you're saying it all the time, tone it down, like, just 10-20%. If your codependency is when someone yells at you, you yell at them even louder, and that's how you two bond and you both have to stay together, next time when that situation comes, don't yell too loud. Still yell, but tone it down just a little bit. If you can completely take it out, even wonderful. First, we want to kind of scramble the pattern, because whatever pattern we are in, it literally has neural connections, physical neural connections in our brain. When you don't act the way your unconscious mind expects you to act, it does get confused. And those patterns start to disassociate with each other. So that would be just being very vigilant of your own behavior. How I'm acting, why I'm doing this. Can I stop doing it? Can I not say this? Sometimes it could be when someone sends you a text message, right away you want to answer it. Right away. You just cannot take it that, there's a message there. I just want to see whose message it is. Just put your phone away. Turn it off. One of the things I did, I was getting so dependent on the dopamine hit from social media. My body one day said, delete it from your phone. So I deleted it. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to still communicate with you all using computer and not my phone. But so much is changing in my body. And I couldn't force it on myself. I let my body tell me. I let my body get ready for that transition. And now it's much easier. There's less of there's less of that going on, or mindless scrolling that we do sometimes. There's less of that going on. Of course, it's going to benefit me at some point, somewhere in my life. Find that, interrupt the pattern. Me deleting social media was interrupting the pattern. That is first thing we have to do. Second thing is, you have to learn how to nurture significance within you all by yourself. Like, if you can just do that, I tell you, my friends, you're going to be far away from codependent relationships, codependent behavior, nurturing, being enabler, nurturing other people's bad habits. You're going to be far away from that if you can bring significance home. Now, how do we bring significance home? There's so many different ways you can do that. One of them would be praise yourself. You're not going to be an airhead, arrogant person if you will praise yourself. There's nothing wrong with it. God is not going to punish you. Whenever you do something that you said you will do, pat yourself in the back. I'm so proud of you. I love you for doing it. Thank you so much for doing this. Start thanking yourself, because these are the things, these breadcrumbs we are looking from other people. And that's what keep us wanting more and more and more and staying in that. But when you start giving yourself the whole bread, you're not going to look for breadcrumbs. That's what we want. I know some of you don't eat gluten and, maybe take gluten-free bread. We want to give it to ourselves all by ourselves as much as we can. So give it to yourself. Praise. Give yourself gifts, small gifts, big gifts. Now, if your problem is shopping too much for yourself, for your home, for everybody, won't suggest that. But let's say if you never shop for yourself, you buy for everybody else, but not for yourself, give yourself something. And gift doesn't have to be big. Gift could be you made your favorite food for yourself when you wanted it, not when everybody else was having it. One of the things I have learned for myself, there are some specific foods I love to make them, but I need someone else to eat with. So I'll wait till like somebody's coming over and then I'll cook it. And one day I was like, why am I doing that? I got into habit. If I want it, I'm cooking it right now, even if I'm sitting here eating by myself. That, my friend, is significance. You have to treat yourself. You have to learn to treat yourself. You are the most important person in your life. And I know that is not an easy thing. That is not an easy thing in any part of the world. So I know it's going to require commitment to yourself. Getting into the habit of saying, I love you. One of the things you can do is look in the mirror in your eyes and say, I love you. You're beautiful. You're perfect. Sometime I listen to my old recordings, even preparing for today's class. I listened to the last time when I taught this topic, and I listened to it and I was like, you're doing amazing. You're doing wonderful. Getting into the habit of praising yourself, seeing your own beauty, the perfection that God created you with, makes a huge difference. That is how you're going to start bringing significance home. Because what you're doing when you're creating significance here, you're giving to yourself. Now, instead of just giving to other people, being the enabler, you're giving to yourself. And giving to yourself is one of the hardest things. And I'll help you understand energetically. We all are energetical beings, right? We have energy flowing through us. Let's say now I want to give you, this is energy going out. So I'm just giving you energy. Like, I'm just doing this. But now let's say I want to receive energy. If I want to receive energy, I have to expand. My current container cannot even take energy. I need to expand to receive it. That's why sometime when you give someone gift, they feel so weird about it because their container is not expanded to receive it. But when we are not expanded to receive, that's also the universe that's sending stuff to us. And it does require working on your worth a little bit. I am worth receiving this gift. I recently just gave gift to a woman, and I could feel the unease and the shame and the guilt in that person for receiving that gift. And I'm talking about somebody in their late 60s. And in that moment, all I could see, like, oh my God, this is what most women live with, because we are conditioned to take the last breadcrumb. Even women who are extremely successful, they come home, they take care of everybody, they do everything, and they are the last person on their list because they have a lot of responsibility. That would be their argument. I have a lot of responsibility. So just because we are, very well educated women doesn't mean that the codependency cannot live within us. It's a conditioning issue that we need to work on. So receive from other people, receive from yourself. It will force your container to expand. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel weird giving yourself gift or cooking something for yourself all by yourself and then sitting down and eating, but do it anyway. It is going to feed into the thing called significance. I found out one time, even for my breakfast, it happened with one of my mentors. We were doing something, and I saw that usually I make one plate of breakfast, just a big plate, and half is my son, half is mine. And I realized it gets dictated by what he wants. If he wants this, I'll have the same thing too. And in that moment, I was able to see, oh my God, that is not right, Alia. That is not right to you. So I started making two things, two plates, one for him for whatever he wants, one for me for whatever I want. Was that easy? No, it wasn't. Does it take more time? Yes, it does. Does it make me feel better? 100%. I feel so much more significant having my own plate with exactly what I want. And sometimes I really make gourmet style breakfast. I love breakfast. Doing these little things, whatever you can do in your life, is going to make a huge difference. The last thing, the fourth thing that I want to talk about is this thought process. This thought process, it's a level of consciousness that you will start tapping into, that you are complete. In this moment, you're complete. Nothing is broken. Nothing needs to fix. No one is going to come and fix you. You don't need someone else to complete you. Now, you might say, but Alia, I know I have all these issues that I need to work through. I am heartbroken. I'm feeling like this. My body's sick, or I feel broken in my body. We are talking about your soul. This is soul consciousness. At your soul level, you're complete. It's going to take you many lifetimes to truly even realize how you are or who you are as a soul. But when you even start to verbalize, I am complete, and keep in mind, you're talking about your soul. You're literally plugged into the energy of your soul because you are at soul level consciousness. At human level, we always going to have something to improve on because that is the nature of a human. We forget things. We will do things that are not right for ourselves or for other people. But that's not what the nature of our soul is. So the more I remember that at the soul level, I'm complete, the less I will be worried about connecting with other people to suck their energy. And that's exactly what it is. I want to leave you all with a framework. And this has been very helpful for me, and I hope it will be very helpful for you too. Look at every interaction as energy. So let's say you wake up in the morning. How much energy are you giving to your family? How much energy you're giving to your kids? What is the energy you're getting back? And sometimes we say, like, oh, it's my kid, like, they're little, they can't really do much. Yeah, if they're infant, I understand. But if the kid is like preteen, teenage, what are they doing? What are they doing to receive that from you? That is a concept that I learned, and I'm putting it in my son's mind from now on, that he needs to do things too for the house itself, for me itself. And sometimes it could be, I want to go to the beach. He doesn't want to. And I would tell him, mommy gives you whatever you want whenever you want it. Right now, I'm asking, and I expect you to give me too. So there's like an energy exchange happening. Otherwise, what will happen? We would always do whatever he wants to do. We'll always eat whatever he wants to eat. I'm going to over time feel resentment towards him. And secretly, I'm going to wait for the day he's 18 and he's out of the house so I can have my freedom back. We don't want to be that kind of family. We want to have an open communication, no codependency. I'm giving you this energy. What energy are you giving me here? And I understand, given at the age appropriate level, it would be different. The exchange would be different, or you even asking for it would be different. But start playing with that thought in every single relationship, with your partner, with your coworkers, with your friends. Are you always the person who's sending the text all the time? Like whenever weekend come, that's another thing I recently caught in myself, that whenever a weekend come, I'm the one just checking in with everybody. Hey, do you want to do something? Are you always that person? That's codependent behavior. Give everybody some space and let their energy reach out to you. Stay present here. It's not easy. Your unconscious mind is going to take over. You're going to slip into your old patterns. When you start looking at everything at an energy level, it just makes it a little bit easier. Just a little bit easier, not a lot. And the last thing is always question, why am I doing? Why am I acting the way I'm acting? Never leave that question. If you truly want to be emotionally independent inside and in your behavior, always ask yourself that question. That is all for today. We went a little bit longer today. If you have any questions or you would like to explore the options of doing this work, deeper work with me, go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can just book a call there. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.